Hello, this is Dudley, WA5QPZ. I'll be talking about the setup for digital modes under Power SDR for the Flex 5000 and the SDR 1000. First thing I'll do is let's go ahead and get the Power SDR showing here. So what we have here is Power SDR, and in the middle we have the digital signals as they are playing. This is PSK31. So the first thing we'll do is talk a little bit about the setup for the Power SDR. Hopefully by now you should have the radio working correctly on your computer and all the setups for basic operation. Particularly sideband set up correctly. Let's go to setup. Should be familiar with the setup menu by now. And if we go to the audio tab, buffer size, set your buffer size, and I'm going to change mine to 1024. So set your buffer size 1024 or 2048 is a good place to be. If your computer's really fast, you might be able to lower this to 512, and it's good to have the FireWire driver buffer set at the same as the buffer size in your audio tab in setup. Sample rate can be any of the sample rates. I generally use 96K for a sample rate. We'll leave it there for now. If we go to the VAC setup, and VAC stands for Virtual Audio Cable. And that's set up, it's a third-party package that will need to be purchased from a third-party person. It's reasonable. It's about $20 or so for a lifetime license for that version. But go to the VAC once you have it downloaded. And I generally use, for XP, I use Windows WDM. By default, MME, Microsoft Media Explorer is usually selected, but I like to leave it in Windows WDM. It seems to be more stable under XP. Now under Vista, MME seems to be, they made some improvements, and MME seems to be real stable. For the input, now these are virtual audio cables. In other words, they're not physical cables, they're just software to tie the two applications together to transfer sound. So I have virtual audio cable 1 for the input and virtual cable 2 for the output for Power SDR. The buffer size I have set for 1024. Good place to start. If you want to try to decrease some latency, you can drop the buffer size down some, but be careful. If you may start to get dropouts between Power SDR and your application, and you may need to increase the buffer size. So that's the basic setup in Power SDR for VAC. On the right hand side, the Direct IQ, that's used for CW Skimmer, and I'll talk a little bit later about the setups for CW Skimmer in another installation. But for now, just the basic. We're just going to talk about the basic installations. Down at the bottom, allow PTT to override. That's used anytime you push the external push to talk or go into MOX. The microphone will then be enabled and it'll bypass VAC. And this is real handy for slow scan TV or any of the EasyPal, some of those. So they like to talk in between the photos, and so that comes in real handy there. Okay, so that's the setup for the VAC within Power SDR. So next, let's go to the CAT control. Now the CAT control utilizes a product called COM0Com, and COM0Com associates two virtual ports. It creates virtual ports and then associates these virtual ports, and I'll show you what it looks like. Under COM0COM, we'll change the names in COM0COM to COM6 and COM16. And the reason why it does this is one virtual port will go for the application, and then the other virtual port will go for the power SDR settings. So this is where the two are tied together. So we actually, let's say, come in on COM6, and the commands, the data is transferred directly over to COM16. So this is how that all works. So we have two virtual ports here, COM6 to 16, and then COM7 to 17. So we'll utilize these two here. So for the CAT control to transfer the frequency information to the application, we'll use COM16 on the power SDR side because we are able to read the high order COM ports. And the rest of the settings are just standard, are the default settings, and those are okay. So we'll leave those as they are. We'll enable the CAT there, and then under push to talk controls, we want to use COM17. We have COM7 to 17, those two associated together. So power SDR, I use COM17, turn RTS and DTR on, and enable it. And then for a source ID, we're emulating a TS2000 command set. So it's real popular, and that's the command set that we've been using all this time. So that sets up the power SDR. Let me close the setup window. Now, you can do this with any of the digital software programs, but tonight we're using the MixW. So I'll turn the VAC on in our console in the digital U mode on 20 meters, and a little bit of audio. So that's the audio, and these are the signals coming in right now on 14070. And let's close the user micro. We don't need the user micro. So these are the